Hello and welcome. Mohan Das Pai, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. What's the big excitement about IFRS?
Well, the big excitement is that it's finally happening. Supposed to happen in 2011. It got postponed the last minute. Now it's finally beginning to happen. And I think there's good traction. Indian companies want to adopt the best standards in the world. They're very excited. So I guess people are better prepared. They understand the issues much better. It finally seems to be happening. And the India discount that India got because we didn't follow IFRS will hopefully come down. In corporate governance norms, when you compare India with other countries, hopefully we will be much better. In the ease of doing business in India, it will be much better. Because if you follow IFRS, you're following global standards. For foreign investors who come into this country, life becomes easier.
Okay, from an investor's point of view, how will things change?
From investors' point of view, the credibility of the financial statements becomes better.
Okay.
Because when you talk about quality of accounting, if you're a large institutional investor, you have to tick in the box and say not followed IFRS, then your hurdle rate for investment goes up. Now, if you follow IFRS, it says follows IFRS, and IFRS is a global brand. When you follow a global brand, there's assurance the quality of accounting is quite high. Now, the analyst will not have to exercise his mind to find out what are the difference between Indian accounting and IFRS and what he needs to do to make a comparable financial projection. So I think it becomes very easy.
But we also have carve-outs from the IFRS. What kind of an impact will that have from an investor's
I think the
point of view?
carve-outs will vitiate our journey to full IFRS unnecessarily. I don't think corporate India first needs protection through carve-outs, because once you have carve-outs, you're standing up before the world and say, we can't accept the best standard the world has, and we want standards of a lower quality. And in Modi's India, India cannot have any standards of a lower quality. It's unacceptable. Second, the accounting is supposed to protect investors. So what are you telling Indian investors? What are you telling foreigners coming to India? That our accounting is not the same as IFRS. We have carve-outs. We want to protect our companies, and these are the areas for carve-outs, and some of them for very less reason. So you're standing out yourself and trying to bring down the India brand by saying that, look, we have carve-outs. So I think the best way to tackle this is to make sure that carve-outs become voluntary. Tell the Indian companies, some of you have come and met us and want protection, so we're having these carve-outs. But if you don't want this carve-out, don't use them. Use the accounting what we issue without carve-outs, which will be as good as the full IFRS. I think that will be the best solution. That's what I think France and Germany followed when they transitioned to IFRS, and they found to their surprise that not many companies wanted the carve-outs. Between the clamor for carve-outs and companies actually following carve-outs, the number in the latter was lesser.
So carve-outs are fundamentally a bad idea.
Carve-outs are fundamentally a bad idea, because remember, we're supposed to go live in 2011. We didn't go live. We're going live for 4 years, and 4 years is a big enough time for companies to understand what it means. And the biggest carve-out, as far as I'm concerned, is the impact of foreign exchange borrowings. Here, the IFRS says that if you don't hedge, it is deemed to be speculative, and you must mark to market. And our standards say that if you don't hedge, you can capitalize the effect to the fixed assets, which is wrong. And in fact, some companies have gone to the extent of capitalizing up to 20,000 crores over the last 4-5 years. So I think it is wrong, and it shows you in very poor light. And Raghuram Rajan has gone on record, the RBI has gone on record to say out of the $150 billion of borrowings of Indian corporates in foreign currency, only 15% is hedged. And this lack of hedging is creating a systemic risk for the financial sector. And the banks have got to be tougher, because if they lend to a company which has got a foreign currency borrowing and that is not hedged, it means the risk in the balance sheet is higher. And last time when the currency went to 68, many of them were in very deep trouble, and they would have asked for more time to pay back the debts, or possibly asked for rescheduling of the debt, right? So I think it's very important for banks also to insist that any borrower who has borrowed from them, which has a foreign currency borrowing, should be fully hedged, or they must disclose it so they can estimate what will be the correct liability.
Okay, what are the top 3 challenges, that India faces now that it is adopting the path of convergence?
I think the top 3 challenges that India will face is the ability of the system to change over to IFRS. I think the institute has been educating a lot of its members. The big accounting firms have been educating a lot of these members. And I think the CFO should get together in the next 2 or 3 months, make a statement as to what is the impact on IFRS and change the system. That will be the first one. So they will get educated a lot and transition to the system. Second is they must, the audit committee and all needs to get updated on the knowledge of IFRS. So I don't think it's a big problem for companies which have been through it, companies which are global, because they're very sophisticated. For many companies to not even apply the mind, I think this time they apply the mind, and audit committees need to be educated. And the third big challenge will be changing some systems and procedures so that the transaction is captured the correct value as per IFRS in the system. And I don't think that will be much, it will not be a major cost, because in India, the IT systems are very well configured and the costs are very low.
From a cost perspective, how should companies view this change in reporting standards?
If you take a cost reward, risk reward perspective, this is high reward, because once you change over to IFRS, that means you reduce the hurdle rate for investment by institutional investors from overseas. And institutional investors are $350 billion of investment in this country now, out of a market capitalization, free float of something like $1 trillion. So they're already at 35%, right? And they may look at you and possibly upgrade you to say that you've got better quality accounting. And if they upgrade you and you're listed, the increase in market value outweighs any small amount of cost that you might have. To me, it's an outsized reward for the risk or the cost that you incur.
And finally, on a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate India's preparedness for the conversion era?
About 7. I think our people are smart. They've gone to the training program. Many of them have read the standards. Our accounting firms have made the transition. They educated their staff. I think they're all ready. They should take the plunge and take the risk and just say, I want the full IFRS. So I would say 7. Some companies, of course, don't want to transition because they think that they will look bad because of certain practices that they have. And I think they should also get over this, because it's a one-time change. And the good time to stand up before investors and say, you know what, we changed all our accounting to IFRS and we've taken a big one-time hit and clean up the books. It's a good time to clean the books and go to a standard rather than have a long, lingering process of doing it. So I think I would estimate 7 on 10. I don't think there'll be any hiccups. If there's some small companies which have not done the accounting well, or the firms which have not done the homework, well, they have to take it up, but it's not much of a risk.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.